Hello and welcome, or welcome back to the What is K-pop podcast, in which I sound a bit not as congested, which is nice. I don't want to say better because I don't know, but it's like that annoying time of congestion where like it's kind of gross but a little bit dry. So you kind of feel like your face is a bit wacky and you're not too sure as to how you should be, you know. You know? You know. Also, so I do apologise. Oh, I can't have a drink. Better? A little bit. So, it isn't like a refresh episode insofar as I'm not telling you as much information. It's because this episode was paired with, I think, Dream originally, and I wanted to do all of the units. No, Wavy. I wanted to do all of the units separately, and then be able to talk more about like Tail, if I'm gonna be honest, and just kind of about different scandals and like stuff to do with that. Not really like too in depth with things or like me talking about how I feel about those things in particular, but like mentioning more in depth, not like giving them their own episode, you know? Because like it's all well and good me talking about them together, like the two units of the same group together. But you're not going to get as much information as me talking about NCT for like 20 minutes. You know, I also might do this for like the first eight and then eight episode members of Triple S. I don't know if I guess I could. I don't know if I would do it in age order and stuff. Maybe that would actually make more sense. I don't know, or maybe they're S's. But I would like to do like in depth with those groups that have had like episodes with other groups because I did. There's something in my eye. So sorry, I had to say that because I've done 127 and obviously Wavy. Then I did Dream and Wish. I would have done Dream and Wish. And then I know I did EXO and Shiny together because I did that all kind of within a few days of each other because members of NCT, Shiny, and EXO were in Supreme together. I did Big Bang and Blackpink together, I think. And a couple of like recent, well, not recent now, but at the time, groups that I couldn't come from Boys Planet. I believe I've done those. And I want to say Boy Next Door and TWS were together. Because I know I've done episodes on them too. Deary me. No, I didn't. Okay, so I did Boy Next Door Free Fresh, and I did Boy Next Door talking about my new meds, about the next week's episodes and like things in general. Oh yeah. I love how back then I used to do like descriptions on like things and was more confident about the idea of like talking about what I'm gonna actually talk about on an episode. Young and innocent Sophie. Nah. No, no. I prefer like having the random thingies, and then like I have been getting more views actually with pretty much since All Day Project. The views have been quite steady. Obviously not the same as ADP, but not as low as it has been, which I'm grateful for, so thank you for that. But yes, NCT 127. So let me scroll back up because I need to. NCT 127 is the second subunit of boy group NCT. Their subunit has 9 members officially: Johnny, Chaeyoung, Yuta, Doyoung, Jaehyun, Winwin, Jungwoo, Mark, and Haechan. And they debuted on the 7th of July 2016 under SM Entertainment with the EP NCT number 127. So originally the group had 7 members without Johnny and Doyoung and Jungwoo. And then for the first comeback with Limitless, it was Johnny and Doyoung were added. Then just before the regular comeback, and like NCT 2018, Jungwoo was added. They had, I think, a repackage where they released Simon Says, which, fucking fight me on this, best NCT 127 song. Fight me about it. I don't care. It's amazing. It just, oh, it does something to my soul. Like the intro, I don't even know what they're saying, but I feel the hype and like the weird, like facial thing that Jungwoo's doing, like with the ooh in the music video, makes me laugh every single time. I love the outfits, I love the concept. I'm just like, chef's kiss, wonderful track. But then obviously women had to leave to go into Wavy, and then most recently on the 28th, I believe, yeah, I think it was the 28th of August 2024, it was announced. It was announced that Tail was basically, for lack of a better word, kicked out of NCT 127 after it was discovered by SM, and obviously through the police reports, that Tail had been a very, very, very naughty boy in June with some of his friends. So he got rightfully kicked to the curb. And honestly, as much as like, I just want to clarify, I do not condone anything that he did. I'm just like, just deserves, whatever the phrase is. Just, I love it. I cannot tell you the anxiety I felt when I read it, but then the just cackling that I went through when when like I was trying to think about what was actually happening with that, because I will eventually actually talk about the members, don't worry. But obviously my auntie and uncle and my nan were there at the time, and I was sitting in the chair ish that I'm sat in right now. And I remember saying to my auntie, because she had just stayed over like in the June for my sister's graduation. And so like I'd been telling her about K-pop and stuff, and like showing her music videos and stuff like that. And she said to me, "Oh, Sophie, what's the most recent drama that's been going on?" And I just happened to be looking at my phone, just because there wasn't any conversation going on, and I just wanted to check it and stuff. And I saw the news report, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god, this is amazing!" And so I showed her, and she was like, "Oh jeez, that's not good." And it wasn't like we didn't talk about it until like when they came back round again, this time obviously without my nan because she had sadly passed away by then, but with my cousin and my future cousin-in-law thingy, whatever. And I don't think, is that a thing, cousin-in-law? I don't know. yeah, we talked about it again, and I said about how we found out that obviously he and a group of his friends raped a girl, and that he was hopefully going to be sentenced to prison, which we know he has now. But Girly Pop don't want to go. Like, he keeps on, like, appealed his sentence, and I'm like, babes, just take it. Like, take it. Come on, just do it. Just, just do it. Come on, like, it's easier to just go and have your punishment and just admit to the fact that you are a rapey boy. I don't know what to tell you. You're a rapey. Um, so no, that's kind of the current situation about like that sort of stuff that we need to, but we do need to like take a quick pause and actually talk about the members, the current members that aren't being that aren't rapists and trying to, get out of being in prison. Woo! Yay. Taeyong. Lee Taeyong. He is the leader, main rapper, main dancer, sub-vocalist, visual centre, and face of the group. Born on the 1st of July 1995, making him a Cancer. And he was born in Seoul, South Korea, and has an older sister, which he loves to dunk on, by the way. I absolutely love that. Like, I'm going to mention, like, little funny things that all of the members have done that I know of. But when he was talking about the Whiplash the Whiplash song. Was it? Oh, yeah, it was called Whiplash song. He said he wrote it about his sister, and I was like, interesting. And a lot of like fans said like he talks about his sister in a very strange way, and I wonder like fans were like, I wonder what's going on there. Like, honey, nothing is actually going on there. I can almost guarantee you nothing is going on there. It's just that obviously Taeyong had to say something, and he couldn't just outright say it was like sexual. Like, he couldn't just like directly say that because they're promoting in Korea, and if you say that, then it's not exactly gonna be the best situation. It was in Cherry Bomb, wasn't it? So I believe I had to listen to it. Well, I didn't have to. I chose to. I should clarify that. I chose to. And I had to rank it, didn't I? I don't think it was in this notebook, but yeah. But yeah, Taeyong and Mark wrote it with JQ and Arrow X issue. Yeah. So, yeah, it isn't anything but exactly what you think it is. It's like when they were trying to explain Highway to Heaven. I'm like, right, we all know. We all can read, we all can listen. Like, you're not fooling anyone, but I appreciate your trying. Yeah. So Johnny, or his Korean name is Seo Young Ho. His English name is Johnny Jun Seo, and he is a lead dancer, I can't speak, lead dancer, sub rapper, and sub vocalist. Born on the 9th of February 1995, making him an Aquarius, and he was born in Chicago, Illinois. Woo! I absolutely loved his Dive Studios interview that he did, where he was talking about when he first entered SM, which was back in 2007, so he would have only been like 8 years old. And wait, what? Yeah, 8 years. No, 12. I can't count. I was like, what? Like, it clocked in my head, and I was like, what are you chatting? Yeah. Yeah, he would have been 12. Anyway, yeah, so he was only like a year and a bit year and a half younger than Taemin when he debuted the next year. So yeah, he'd been in the company for a while. And when he started training, there were like people who were born in like 1988 that were training at this time. And so he learned like young Korean, like the type of Korean that you learn when you have a lot of elders. So when he speaks in Korean, he does sound not like young, but like he talks maybe perhaps in like at the beginning, in like ways that you would if you were younger than your peers. That's a sentence, yep. And he didn't actually start training like fully until he graduated high school in 2013. And he was offered to debut with EXO, but but he didn't want to, which, like, yeah, fair enough. And so he ended up staying for a couple more years and obviously came over to Korea to properly start training, and that's then when he joined NCT. He obviously did have to wait a little bit longer, but I think that it was worth it, I think he's doing alright. And he's friends with quite a few members of EXO, so that is good. Next member we have is Yuta. Nakamoto Yuta, he is a lead dancer, sub-vocalist, sub-rapper, born on the 26th of October 1995, so that means he's nearly 30. 30 and 13 days. Because this goes out on Wednesday, so in 11 days for you. But yeah, he was born in Osaka, in Japan. And the funny Futar is obviously connected to Taeyong, but like he point blank refused to sign an album that Taeyong was on. I love that for him. Yes, Do-young, Kim Dong-young, here main vocalist, born on the 1st of February 1996, making him an Aquarius. And he was born in Seoul, South Korea. And he has an older brother who is an actor, part of like an acting group. And he's Gong Young from Surprise 5 Prize. Yeah. And the funny about Do-young was that it was Johnny's birthday at the time, like when this happened, and they were recording for NCT Live. And Do-young said that, like, he felt sick or something. And so he, like, went off, and Jaehyun and Ten were there, and they were, like, kind of chatting shit about it. And so was Taeyong, but he didn't chat shit. He wasn't in on the prank. And them, like, Jaehyun and Ten had to, like, pretend that, Do-young wasn't actually ill or something, but Taeyong was actually kind of worried about it, and because obviously Do-young and Johnny are really good friends. I'm so sorry, I just choked. Are really good friends in the group. Like, obviously Johnny was really, really worried, and didn't obviously realise that he probably was being pranked, and was really surprised when they brought out a cake for them. I'm also trying to find it, so I'm just searching that out. But yes, he has, I believe it's 2 studio albums now, and he is, I'm pretty sure he announced his enlistment date, if I'm not mistaken. I probably am though, because it's me. Or did I imagine it? I think I did. Yeah, that's fun. Also, people are saying that he clearly is an atheist because he did like his audition in a church. Don't really want to be that girl, but I'm gonna be that girl. I'm not religious. However, I don't go to church personally. I go into churches and I do stuff in churches sometimes. I actually had to I don't have to. I'm saying this like I was forced to do these things. Um I had to do um work experience in some sort of like field of my choosing. And I chose to go to my preschool that I went to. But obviously, it was like a Methodist preschool. So it was inside of a church. And the church was the same church that my parents got married in. And that does like a Christmas tree festival each year. And so, you know, if it was like the only place that I could do something, I would do it. But it doesn't mean I'm religious. I think it said churchy. Well, I'm not. I'm not religious in any way. You know. Well, yeah, I was christened, but I wouldn't consider myself to be a religious person. You know. Next member we have is Jaehyun. Jung Jaehyun, but he legalized it to Jung Yuno. I just love that he like changed it and then his old name became his stage name. I'm like, nothing has been more iconic than that. Like also, in the military, did they refer to him as Jaehyun or did they refer to him as Yuno? I don't know. I would assume they would refer to him as his legal name instead of, the name that perhaps the public knows him as, just because, it would be kind of mean to not refer to him as the name he wants to be known as. I don't know. He is main vocalist, lead dancer, sub rapper, and visual, and he was born on the 14th February 1997 and born in Seoul, South Korea. What can I talk about? Not, and I just want to clarify that I'm not like trying to search. Just trying to think. Um, he did his solo album was released on my birthday, and he did a cover of "Can't Take My Eyes Off You" by Frankie Valli, or however you say that name. And I actually didn't realise it was that song. And I have listened to that cover so many times, it's actually unreal. But it is a good one. And also, him and DK from 17 went to the same school, but DK didn't want to talk to Jaehyun because he was too handsome. The fuck? I'm like, you're both good. Just like, yes, 10/10. I do appreciate the visuals, but you gotta do what you gotta do, yeah. Jungwoo, Kim Jungwoo, or Jin Ting Yu. He is a lead vocalist, lead dancer, and was born on the 19th of February 1998, making him a Pisces. And my nose just made the weirdest noise just then. What the hell was that? So the funny about Jungwoo is that he's kind of not the leader, but he kind of is. He leads the members into their introduction, like obviously because I said Taylor, because Johnny. Oh my god, because Taeyong's not there to do it. And, I think, yeah, Taeyong said, like, if he wasn't the leader, he would want Jungwoo to be it. And I kind of love that. I don't think I could ever be a leader for anything. Just, from like my own knowledge of my own skills, I don't think I ever could. But like, I understand that it's something that you grow into. But again, I don't think I could ever grow into doing it. But I think if Jungwoo had the chance to be a leader, I think he would be a good one. But you've got to try doing stuff like that, like at least once in your life, to kind of know what some things feel like. But yes, I don't like being a leader at all. Like, even in school, when I think I've mentioned this before, but when I was in school, like, I was that kid in primary school at the very least. I was that kid that didn't really do anything in a group. But it was because I didn't know what, like, I was never really given too much responsibility. And so, in the rare times that I was kind of given responsibility, I didn't really know what to do with it. And so, my classmates would obviously take over. But then, when we went into secondary school, which was when I was 11 years old, by the way, if you're wondering when that was, I didn't tend to do like group projects with people. Like, if I had to do them, then I guess I would do. But it was kind of difficult in a lot of ways. It was like pulling teeth a lot of the time, if you know that analogy. It was it was like as though they just knew I would do it. And I did. I would very willingly work on all this stuff, but it was hard because it was such like a tropey thing that I didn't think it was real, that like people just wouldn't work. But then it actually became the reality. And so when I was in year 11, actually, when I was like 15, my teacher, my English teacher, would actually come up to the classroom, like come up to my form room and ask me like, "Oh, do you want to be a part of a group because we're doing group projects today?" And I'll just always be like, "No, I'm good. I'll just do it by myself." And like, it was never a problem. It just obviously meant I had to work a little bit harder on those things, and obviously I often have to speak about the thing that we were doing the project on. But yeah, what was the point? Yeah, the leader thing. Like, being like a leader, obviously, some people are just naturally born to do it. And I love that for some people. But there are also people like me that are just not leader orientated in the slightest. And I don't always think that's a bad thing. There are gotta be There are some people who want to be famous and don't want to be famous, want to have their picture on the internet and don't. There's, with Stray Kids, Bang Chan. He's obviously the leader of Stray Kids and is very in the public eye. And Hannah, his sister, has obviously been developing that sort of stuff. But Lucas, their younger brother, he doesn't want to be in it at all. And they respect that, and they don't make him do anything with that. And I kind of love that because, he doesn't have to do that sort of stuff. He isn't being like pushed into any of those roles. Okay, next one we have is Mark Lee, or Lee Min Hyung. He is the main rapper, main dancer, and sub vocalist, born on the 2nd of August 1999, making him a Leo. And he was born in Toronto but moved to Vancouver, Canada at a very young age. Also was in New York for a little bit, and then moved to Seoul for training, I suppose, at some point. Hi, so it's the next day now, and I kind of was thinking about, what I said last night on the kind of recording thingy talking about Mark's album. And I just kind of felt that maybe, I didn't put myself across properly. It was kind of late. I was tired, and I wanted to kind of make sure that, my perspective was nicely laid out. So Mark released his solo album earlier this year called The First Fruit. And the first fruit is like known as the first kind of harvest that a group of people gave to God. I think that's the general kind of gist of it. And the reason obviously why it's called that is because Mark himself is Christian. He talks about his faith a little bit, and he discusses it, but not like too in. Again, I don't know how to explain it. He explains it, but doesn't, you know, it feels enough, you know? Does that make sense? Probably not, I don't know. So the reason why I really I like Mark in general. I just want to clarify that I didn't stop liking Mark. The reason why I like Mark and I like some K-pop artists is because like it doesn't feel as though their music is tinged with their religion throughout their whole like discography. Like it isn't a part of like an entire album, I guess. Like it feels like it's little smatterings. It's like bird seed in a load of grass, like you can walk through the grass and maybe not find any seeds, or you can find like a couple, when you're going through those things. And The First Fruit and actually Purpose by Justin Bieber, they both feel as though they touch on the person's, like the artist's religion really nicely. And I'm always a little bit cautious when I know that an artist is releasing a solo project and I know that they are religious, just in case it reminds me too much of, when I went to school. Because I went to like a Church of England primary school, it felt a lot of the times like we were being force-fed religion, which obviously I understand because we went, again, to a Church of England primary school. But to be fair, there aren't many primary schools around here that aren't like church based. I'm trying to. So they aren't. So like one of the primary schools around me isn't. So I went to one. There's another one that's actually closer to me, and then one that is kind of close to my old primary school. Like they don't. They're not religious, which I am. Which I guess like I could actually take my children to. I don't know. Where am I going with this? Anyway, it doesn't, like, there are very few primary schools that I could have gone to that aren't religious that wouldn't have taught me that wouldn't have given me that basis. And, like, now as a 22-year-old, like, I can remember those lessons and been like, oh, wow, that was a little bit strange given my own perspective on things. And obviously we sang hymns all the time. We sang religious songs like so much. And in secondary school we were given a mini fucking Bible. Like, it's so strange. And we obviously like said a prayer before we ate. And I can remember even back then I was like, why am I doing this? Like, we were taught that God made the earth in like 6 days, and then the seventh day he took a rest day or something like that. And I was like, but the Big Bang created the world. Like, I knew that. I knew that as a kid. And like I'm always like a little bit wary of religion now, I guess, because of how much it kind of goes against like science that I've learned and like stuff like that. And I know that science obviously can't explain everything. And I'm not saying that like people who are religious have to suspend their beliefs or something. Like, have to come back to science, because at the end of the day, like, you do you. I'm not here to judge. Like, it confuses me a lot. And I'm always so concerned about like listening to and like consuming content of these people in case they kind of have tinges of their religion sprinkled into their work. Because you do see it with like Western artists, like what I said with like Justin Bieber. I know that Drake's had a song, maybe has had like a few songs tinged with religion. And like obviously with the JMS cult thing that went on in Korea. And the 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 difference in religion, like I don't know how to explain it, like with specifically like American artists, like because they're the biggest kind of they're the biggest musical. What is wrong with me? Like, I listen to more American artists, and America is more religious than the UK. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm always kind of wary about that. And, I just don't want to feel as though I'm being taught stuff that's just like has that kind of confused. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I learned that stuff in school. It confused me and I don't like it. And I'll prefer to not have to consume any more content or anything about that ever again. That's my 2 cents. I don't care if anyone on the podcast who's listening to this right now is religious. Like, I do not give a shit. Like, honestly, I'm just pleased that you're listening. But I don't like the idea that the content I'm consuming is trying to teach me something and trying to get me to be of a certain religion, because I have had those and I don't like it. Like, there is a Jehovah's Witness congregation, I think the word is, that is by my school. And every year they come around and try to do religious teachings on your doorstep. And I don't like that. Like, I don't think I don't think religion should be forced down people. Like, I appreciate that those idols and those people have that for themselves. I fully love that. And loads of them don't, try to indoctrinate people. Like, some people just generally do that. And I'm like, okay, please don't do that to me. And I think that's honestly like a all right thing to say. Perhaps, like, I don't want to feel like I'm being sold to. And Mark's music doesn't feel like that to me. I will let you get back to yesterday's Sophie talking about Hey-chan. Also, I had really bad internet issues, so I didn't actually end up talking about Win-Win. So Win-Win was born. I'll just do it quickly now whilst we're here. And then I will let you get back to previous Sophie. Yeah, I had lots of connection issues last night with the site. Like, it just decided to crash, and I didn't appreciate that. So yeah, Win-Win was born Dong Si-cheng, and his cranium is Dong Sasung. He was the lead dancer and sub-vocalist, born on the 28th of October 1997, making him a Scorpio, and he was born in Wenzhou in Xishan in the People's Republic of China. And obviously he isn't really a part of NCT or NCT 127 or really a part of Wavy, but he did a really cool cover with 10 of one of Billie Eilish's songs, which I do appreciate. And lastly, so then we can get this man over and done with, he was the main vocalist, born on the 14th of June 1994, making him a Gemini. He was born in Seoul, and he raped a girl, an unconscious girl, with, I think it was 3 other people, it might have been only 2, and hopefully he gets 7 years. I will now let you get back to Sophie, but thank you for listening to this addendum. Bye. Album. Next we have is Hey-chan, Lee Don-kyuk. He is main vocalist, lead dancer, and maknae. Born on the 6th of June 2000, making him a Gemini. And we are having troubles, my friend, with the members profile. Hey-chan. Okay, so he was born in Seoul, but moved to Jeju when he was 7 until the age of 12. And he has a younger sister and 2 younger brothers. And So he has he doesn't, I don't think he has like concrete like colour blindness, but he has poor colour vision. But yes, fun fact about Hei-chan. He was in a random controversy with Johnny a couple of years back about like soliciting with like girls and stuff at a hotel. And I was like, okay. Like, go off, Queen. Like, I don't know what to say about that. But yes. Can we really talk about Tail? Do I really want to talk about him? No, not really. But yes, no, on the Mark thing, like, I'm not gonna say exactly who I feel like is pushing any sort of religion because, you know, I don't want to get dead. I know. But no, the religion thing, all in all, it kind of felt, at least when, like, I don't know what things are like now, but it did feel as though we couldn't learn about anything else. Like there was a boy who joined who was of a different religion, and he point blank refused to go to RE, like religious education, obviously, to learn about Christianity. And so he would go off and, like, I don't know what he did. I think he wasn't fluent in English, so he just took extra English. But no, I just, like, neither me and my sister him like talking about religion. Like, obviously I'm more comfortable with talking about it. But no, I just don't like, sometimes with media and like artists, and I guess some K-pop stuff can feel as though they are trying to drip feed their own religion into their artistry, which, I mean, I guess in some ways it's, you know, just what they're doing. And if their main audience is obviously of the same country that they were born in, you know, with like American artists, it like seems more logical to have that religious kind of twang to your work. But, you know, I will always kind of have in the back of my mind like the we wars, just like the we war, be careful. You know, don't feel, I'm also not saying that, like, if you are religious and you can't, you know, like the show or like Sanata, I'm not saying that. But, you know, it because of kind of how me and my sister were raised with primary school, it often felt like we kind of had to be dead set on being Christian. And it's kind of now feeling as though we can't, like, do it. Like, as in we can't ever touch religion again, because it was just so much of, this is what Christianity is. You will like Christianity. You will sing these hymns, and you will enjoy it. Like, I'm not saying I don't. I'm also just saying that I don't want to have to praise God for the piece of bread I'm about to eat when I know for a fact it came from Tesco. You know? Maybe I'm just being a cynic here. I am more than likely just being a cynic because I'm still not 100%, but yeah, you know, it's just be whoever you want to be, you know, in the podcast, whatever, you can feel safe, but, you know, just Christianity is just not for me. Religion, no, absolutely not. Religion has been tainted so much for me over the years, so yeah. Thank you as always for listening, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Bye.